Today, innocence came to Mr. Cosby with the help of these wonderful attorneys.
Yes, that's right, folks. You read that title correctly. Bill Cosby has been released from prison, yet Britney Spears is somehow still trapped in a conservatorship. The Pennsylvania Supreme Court made a ruling that vacated Bill Cosby's 2019 Indecent SA conviction, and it was a baffling twist for a case that came from the Me Too movement. I'm going to get into all the details in just a moment, but first, if you could do us a big favor, please tap that like button. We'd really appreciate it. And with that out of the way, let's begin. According to this most recent court filing on Bill Cosby, they say he was released because the disgraced actor's due process rights were violated. The whole situation surrounding Bill Cosby has been jarring to say the least. I mean, we're talking about a man who was once known as America's dad. He would routinely call up comedians even who were telling dirty jokes and say that they needed to clean up their acts. Although, while that was the person that he presented, Bill Cosby was masking something. The panel of Pennsylvania State Supreme Court judges said in their opinion that a former Montgomery County District Attorney's decision to not prosecute Cosby in 2005 in return for his deposition in a civil case was ultimately used against him at trial. The judges go on to write, "In light of these circumstances, the subsequent decision by successor DAs to prosecute Cosby violated Cosby's due process rights. Bill Cosby was originally sentenced back in 2018 for 3 to 10 years in a state prison for the crime of drugging and SA on Andrea Constant at his home in 2004. When he appeared, he was immediately crowded by reporters, yet Cosby himself had nothing to say. Cosby's attorney Jennifer Bonjean, who appeared alongside his other lawyers, said that Bill is extremely happy to be home, adding, 'This has been a hard 3 years for this entire family. It's really a blessing for him. He says his heart is beating really fast.' Cosby would later tweet out a photo of himself thanking his followers, and in the tweet he said, 'I have never changed my stance nor my story. I have always maintained my innocence. Thank you to all my fans, supporters, and friends who stood by me through this ordeal. Special thanks to the Pennsylvania Supreme Court for upholding the rule of law.' Although he didn't quite get the response that he was hoping for, with one person replying, 'You were let out on an inexplicable technicality, not because you were innocent or wrongly incarcerated. The less you say, the better this injustice will probably be for all involved. I am sorry your victims feel invalidated by this, but I believe them and I know you do too.' For victims of Bill Cosby who are seeking some kind of justice, this new ruling is a big slap in the face. Those are at least the words of Lisa Bloom, the attorney for 3 of his accusers. One accuser named Victoria Valentino told the press, 'I am outraged, stunned. My stomach is in knots. The work that we have done to uplift women has been overturned by a legal glitch. We now have a serial predator on the street.' And the ruling was based on the fact that Cosby had waived his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination by agreeing to testify in a previous civil case brought by his accuser Andrea Constant, which the justices said was evidence that he didn't think he would be criminally charged. What's wild though is that a small thing like that allowed for someone to be released that has a history of SA charges. Cosby was charged in 2015 on a felony SA charge, and then dozens of women came forward with allegations that range from groping to full-on SA. He acknowledged in 2006 during a lawsuit with Andrea Constant that he had previously given quaaludes to women that he was pursuing. In addition to this ruling, Justice David Wesch wrote that Cosby must be discharged and that any further prosecution on these particular charges must be barred, which means he can never face trial again in this case, which just blocks any accusers from trying to get some kind of recourse. Lori Levinson, who is a law school professor in Los Angeles, said that she believes the court's ruling was more than just a technicality, but was supported on legal grounds. She goes on to say, "The biggest problem was not believing that their victim's testimony would be enough for a conviction. That was a judgment call. Today there might be a different decision in other cases, especially if the courts become more open to allowing other victims to testify." But either way, we would love to hear your thoughts on this story, so make sure you drop us a comment down below. And while you do that, I'm going to check out some of your comments from the video titled, "Top 10 YouTubers Accused of Scamming Their Fans." Oh, and is there more than 10? Rain says, "I honestly don't know why Austin McBroom still has fans. They all have to be children because there is no one dumb enough to just ignore everything that he's done." I mean, I don't want to put that on his fans. Perhaps they are just kids who, or people who haven't really looked into his history and his background. You gotta give people the benefit of the doubt sometimes. Smokey Sky says, "I bet Bella Thorne is on this list." Nope, but maybe on a part 2? That's a good one. That's a good one. John Doe says, "Johnny, your hair makes you look like Joe Exotic's son." How dare you, John Doe? How dare you? Internet Junkie says, "You need to also add e-begging scams also on this list." I've never heard of e-begging scams, so I'll definitely look into that. Alyssa Perrine says, "Honestly, kind of surprised y'all didn't take a chance hit jab at Gabby Hanna." Hey, there's always part 2. Either way, guys, that has been today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I've been your host, Johnny Rogers, and until next time, stay classy, YouTube, or at least try.